Good afternoon and a very warm welcome indeed to today's iOB business webinar. It's a pleasure to have you on here. My name is Ben and I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business, and I will be the one taking you through today's webinar. So once again, it's a pleasure to be on here presenting to you today. Now, if this is your first time joining us on one of these iOB business webinars, first of all, a very warm welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Okay, now just a little bit about how these webinars operate before we get kicked off, just to help you have a smooth experience today. So as we go throughout today's session, we're going to cover three topics, same as we always do. The key part is in between each of these topics. You're more than welcome to ask away with any questions and indeed jot down any notes. And we're going to take a brief pause so that you can do that with all the time that you need. Okay, so if you would like to ask any questions, you can do so in the gray Q&A box at the bottom of the screen there. You can go ahead and ask away. It'll be no problem at all. And I'll get to them in the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. Now, if you've been with us before, a very warm welcome back. I'm sure you'll be more than familiar with how these webinars operate. Okay, so without further ado, let's get kicked off with the presentation on screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch off my camera. So you shouldn't be able to see my face anymore, but you should still be able to hear my voice. And you should now be able to see the presentation that we have for you up on screen there today as well. Okay, so there is a first time for everything. Okay, now, if you could do me a big favor just before we get kicked off, please just drop in the chat box if you can hear my voice okay, and you can see the presentation up on screen okay. That'll give me the A-okay to get started and let me know that everything is good. Now, finally, if you do have any issues on today's webinar, not that we expect you to, but if you do, please don't hesitate to jump into the chat box and let us know. And we'll do everything that we can to help you out there. Okay, so wonderful. You can hear me okay. You can see the screen okay. Fantastic. Perfect. So let's get kicked off then for today's session. There is a first time for everything. Okay, so your presenter today is myself. My name is Ben. I'm a business coach and I specialize in working with small businesses to help them achieve stability and growth. Very similar to many of you that are on here today, many established digital agency owners and many new faces. It's always a pleasure to see you. So thank you ever so much once again for taking the time to join us on today's session. Now, today's session, we're going to cover 3 points as we always do. Number one, we're going to discuss first times for you. Okay, now we're talking about in today's session overall that there is a first time for everything. So the first point of conversation, first times for you. Number two, first times for the market. Okay, we're going to talk about what this means and how these first times for the market affect it. And number three, what this means for you. Okay, so cumulatively, once we've finished having a conversation about today's webinar, today's topic, we're going to talk about what this all means for you, as we always do. Okay, so beginning with first times for you. Now, there's a wonderful quote I'd like to kick off with here. Doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. That was said by Albert Einstein. Okay, now the reason I wanted to open with this quote is because this is so important as a lesson to us to learn and take forward in our lives and in our business. Okay, if we're struggling or we don't think we're capable of something, and this is probably the biggest part, okay, if you are trying to achieve something, anything in your life, and you're continually repeating the same methods in order to try and achieve this, okay? So let's say theoretically in business, maybe you're trying to grow to a 6-figure turnover, okay? And you switch on an ads campaign for £100 a month for a few months, and then you switch it off, then you switch it on, then you switch it off. And you say, well, why am I not growing yet? Why am I not picking up enough clients? Why am I not making enough sales? It's because you're doing the same thing repeatedly. If you could look at the statistics from your choices in business and in any other ambition that you're trying to achieve, you look at the statistics historically back on this, do you think you would have been doing anything significantly different to what it is that you're doing now? And vice versa, okay? You must make a change. You must do something differently to that of what you've done before if you would like to attain a different outcome. You must try new things in order to achieve this, okay? So the goal of, say, having a 6-figure a year business turnover wise, it's not necessarily just going to happen. Okay, it doesn't just happen on its own, and there isn't necessarily one specific method of getting there either. There's lots of different ways to get there, and you will get it differently to your neighbor, who will get it differently to their neighbor. Okay, so doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Okay, now in order to achieve a different outcome, you must change your patterns of behavior. Okay, if you want to get in better physical shape, you need to start going to the gym. You need to start working out. You need to start eating better. Okay. If you want to attain different heights financially, you need to start maybe being more frugal. You need to start maybe earning more money. If you want to achieve new heights in business, you need to start networking. You need to start building services. You need to start giving the market what the market wants. Okay. So in order to achieve a different outcome to that of what you have been achieving before. Okay. Now that's not to say that you are not happy with everything that you've achieved before, because, you know, you may very well be, and that's a wonderful thing. But if you want to achieve a different outcome, if you want your outcome this year to be 100,000 instead of 50,000 for your business turnover, or you want to be in a certain shape, or you want to achieve a certain personal hobby or ambition, okay? If you want to achieve this outcome and it is different to that of what you have done before, you must change your patterns of behavior, okay? What are your patterns of behavior? Do you wake up late? Do you not work out? Do you not study? Do you not get yourself educated? Do you not like to network? These patterns of behavior have to change. And that doesn't mean, you know, necessarily that we have to flip our world upside down, but it does mean that we have to start doing things that we haven't yet done before. And it's so much easier to say, no, you know, I'm just going to stick to what I'm doing now because it's comfortable. It's easy to do in the time, in that precise moment. It's easy to sleep in. It's easy to not go to that networking event because you're tired. It's easy to not make that change in business, not start that marketing campaign because it was too much research and you didn't want to finish it off. Okay. It's so easy to say no to these things, but non-ironically, in fact, it is absolutely no surprise that without making these changes, you will not see any significant change in outcome for yourself either. So this is something we've got to be absolutely mindful of. Now, we've got to embrace the concept that there is something new out there for you, okay? And in addition to this, that you are in fact capable of achieving it. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because many people, they forget this crucial factor. And they say, right, okay, well, I want to achieve something new, but really in their head, they don't actually believe that they can do it. 6-figure outcome, 7-figure outcome, certain level of business, certain holiday they want to take. So, you know, something that they want to do, a certain physical shape they want to achieve for themselves. You know, they say to themselves, that's fine, I want to do that. But they don't actually believe that that's out there for them. They don't believe that they're the type of person that will have that luxury, they will have that outcome, they will have that achievement that they strive towards. Okay, now people say for years and years and years, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but without making the daily habits and the changes that you need to make, which aren't always fun, by the way. There's some necessary sacrifices, some things that we have to work hard towards, but we have to embrace the concept that there is something new out there for you. And in addition to this, that you're capable of achieving it. Okay, if you would like to develop a new business, if you would like to get yourself started, if you would like to become a leader in the industry, okay, it's very much something that you have to believe you can do for yourself. Now, the key difference between those who do and those who don't is the willingness to try. Okay, you will fail, you will fall down, you will get knocked back. Starting a new business isn't easy. Getting into a new industry isn't easy, but with help, support, education, a little bit of dedication, you can absolutely do these things. Okay, now the key differentiator between those who will not make it towards their ambition, those who will not achieve their goal, and those who will, is the willingness to just simply try, just get started, work hard, be determined, get yourself better habits, get yourself better routines, get out of bed when you said you were going to get out of bed, do the studying you said you were going to do the workout, do the healthcare, do everything you need to do to make sure that you are ready and optimized to hit that goal. Okay. So that brings us to the end of topic number 1. We'll be moving on to topic number 2, first times for the market, very, very shortly. So I'm going to give you a brief moment now to jot down any notes, anything you might wish to take, and I'll be right back with you in just a moment's time for topic number 2 on today's session. Wonderful. So we are back in action, moving on to topic number 2, first times for the market. Okay, so what does this mean specifically? Okay, particularly in the digital world, new concepts are rolling out continuously. Okay, there are so many first times all the time. Now, today's topic of conversation overall is that there is a first time for everything. There's a first time for you to achieve a new height. There's a first time for you to open a new business. There's a first time in the market for a new service to be introduced. Okay, there was a first time the social media giants were introduced. There was the first time search engines were introduced. There was the first time the internet was introduced. Okay, particularly in the digital world, new concepts are rolling out continuously. Big tech companies, big software companies, giants of the industry are rolling out new things all the time. They're testing, trial and error. You'll have seen yourself, technology firsthand. How often do you see new things coming out? New phones, new gear, new audio equipment, new keyboards, new whatever you like, new bits of software. Okay, it's coming out all the time. And this in its specific format will be the first time something like that, or that in itself, has been created or been done before. There is a first time for everything. Every single thing that has happened in the history of us, the history of the planet, happened for the first time at some point. Okay, so dramatic, yes, but accurate also, yes. Okay, so particularly in the digital world, new concepts are rolling out continuously. Now, it would seem as though each day someone somewhere has thought of a new idea that can change the way we look at our everyday lives. Okay, once upon a time, we didn't have a little handheld device that we could surf the internet with, make phone calls, browse our social media, talk to our friends, message our friends, check the weather, play games, watch movies, all of these incredible things that you can do on a phone. Now, dare I say, we, including myself, take these kinds of things for granted today. Okay, if I think back to my childhood, I couldn't do any of that, on one device, never mind on my mobile device. Okay, now we think how far we've come technologically. We think how far we've come, as a population of Earth, to develop all of these things that we now just think of as normal: air travel, sea travel, conveniences, modern day conveniences. There's, certain areas, certain things that we can buy something online and it arrives at the house, the following day. When was that ever a thing, right? And you can stream most of the movies that you wish at a click of a button. Okay, back in the day, you had to go out, you had to buy a DVD or a video, and then you could, rent it and then watch it. Nowadays, you don't even have to do that. You just switch on your TV or your computer or your mobile phone, and there you go. So it would seem as though each day someone somewhere has thought of a new idea that can change the way we look at our everyday lives. And when I say that can change the way we look at our everyday lives, what I really mean by that is, once upon a time, these things just simply weren't possible. And I'm sure that if you take a moment to look at your own life and think, well, what do I do every day now? What's something that I do day in, day out, week in, week out, that I just wouldn't have been able to do 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Because there's a first time for it. There's a first time that you learned how to ride a bike. There's a first time that you learned how to drive a car. But if you've been driving a car for a while now, you could never imagine a time where you couldn't drive a car, where it wasn't possible to just grab your keys and nip to the shop. Now, these modern day conveniences are something that are rolled out all the time. And this is very applicable in the digital world, because many of these modern day conveniences that we enjoy have come as a result of this digital world being so evolving, being so agile, adapting all of the time to provide convenience for us, to provide success for us, to provide us the ability to reach new heights, better advertising, better optimization, better web performance, better user performance, all of these brilliant things that not only help us enjoy it on our average everyday lives for us, but also help us improve the average everyday life of the businesses that we work for, and making them, those averages, more exceptional as each day goes on. So some examples of some new innovations, and with something we can talk about: social media. Okay, once upon a time, social media wasn't a thing. Okay, now social media over the years has evolved into many, many different and incredible things. You can post videos online, you can interact with videos online, you can live stream yourself at an event. You can walk around your local village and live stream yourself doing it. That's new. Okay, now it's not necessarily new, but in the grand history of technology, that's super new. Okay, but now there are things that we just look at as being fairly normal. Okay, if you're going live on social media, you're interacting with your friends, you're messaging somebody on the other side of the world, that is possible because of what social media has done. Okay, paid advertising, innovations, something that has come along. Okay, when a platform gets big enough, when a platform gets successful enough, when a platform has enough users, they can then start actually advertising within their own platform. Okay, we look at paid advertising as this sort of concept that we're reaching out to all these people. But if you're advertising on, say, Facebook, for example, You can only advertise to people that are on Facebook, but Facebook is so colossal that they can actually advertise within their own platform, and people will pay very, very, very significant amounts of money for those adverts. Okay, so this is a new innovation. The internet in itself, once upon a time, was a new innovation. Okay, the internet has not always been around. This is something that has absolutely changed the way we do so much. And if you think about what times must have been like before the internet, you couldn't Google something, you couldn't answer a simple question, you couldn't grab a recipe that you needed, you couldn't look for an item that you were looking for online, you couldn't message a friend, you couldn't make an internet call, you wouldn't be able to do a live stream, you wouldn't be able to do a video conference, you wouldn't be able to stream your movies. Okay, without the internet, none of these things would be possible. So it's very much worth bearing in mind that if you wish to be a pioneer of innovation, you must be willing to take a chance on your own ability. Roll out something new if you wish, or at least for yourself, try something new. So the reason we spoke about first times for the market is to really show you and show ourselves how much can be done. That once upon a time, all of the incredible things that we enjoy and experience today, they haven't always been around. Somebody somewhere decided to do that for the first time, and here we are today. These people were pioneers of innovation themselves, and if you wish to do that, you must be willing to take a chance on your own ability as well, just like they did. Okay, so that brings us to the end of topic number 2. Once again, I'm going to give you a brief moment. Do feel free to jot down any notes, ask away with any questions you might have for me, and I'll see you in just a moment's time for topic number 3. All right, fantastic. So let's move on to the third and final topic of today's session, and we're going to talk about what this means for you. Okay, so number 1, simply because you have not done it before does not mean that you cannot do it. Okay, often when people achieve something incredible, often when people achieve something new or exciting or adventurous or ambitious, they haven't done it before. There's a first time for passing an exam. There's a first time for learning how to drive, first time for riding a bike, first time for so many things. Okay, the fact that you have not done it before does not mean that you cannot do it. And this is something that, if you take nothing else away from today's webinar, take away this sentence, this phrase. Simply because you have not done it before does not mean that you cannot do it. Okay, doesn't mean that you cannot earn more than you've earned before. Does not mean that you cannot achieve a better physical shape than you have before. Does not mean that you cannot reach new heights that you have not reached before. Okay, you have to do something for the first time before you could ever do it. Okay, so the simple fact that you haven't done it before doesn't mean that you cannot do it for the first time. You are able to research the business formulas that have worked for entrepreneurs before you. Okay, we're talking specifically about digital marketing on today's webinar, as we always are. And you are able to research the actual business formulas in many different ways, shapes, varieties, and forms that have worked for entrepreneurs before you. Okay, what have they done? Did they develop services? Did they roll out certain products? What was successful? What did work? What didn't work? Why didn't it work? Or why did it work? Who did they have helping them? What education did they receive? What way did they find to be most productive of growing a business, or growing a certain angle, or doing a certain level of PR to bring attention to their business? What was it that they did to make themselves this exceptional? Okay, what we as modern day entrepreneurs view as exceptional. What are they doing? What do we admire? What would we like to, replicate? Okay, you're able to research this. You can look online with the internet, a new innovation in itself. Okay, you can have a look at this. We are living in an absolutely golden age where you can access so much information, something that was not possible. Okay, if you want to look at pictures of a holiday resort on the other side of the world before you travel there, you can do that. Beforehand, you were just trusting a magazine or trusting local photos. Okay, you're able to research the business formulas that have worked for entrepreneurs before you. You're able to create a business in a dynamic space that welcomes new ideas. The digital world is so wonderful, so welcoming, so evolving, and so agile that new ideas, new concepts are welcome all the time. You can find yourselves communities of exciting entrepreneurs that would be inviting of your ideas, that would hear you out, that would help you grow, I'm sure. Okay, now you're able to create a business in this dynamic space. That is the really, really cool part. That digital agencies exist in these dynamic spheres where you can get help, you can be innovative, you can bring out new ideas, you can do something that you haven't done before. Okay, this is a space that welcomes these ideas firsthand, and you're able to enjoy a versatile and adaptable business to fit around your existing lifestyle. A digital marketing agency is something that is very much something that can be worked around your life. Okay, you can do it part-time, full-time, micro time, even if you've only got a little bit of spare time every week. Okay, you're able to enjoy this versatility because it's something that can be flexible around you, and it's something that very, very many people start on the side. Okay, they're doing something else, they're working a job, they're looking after a family, they're running a household. They do this on the side because it's something that can be done. It's completely flexible, it's completely up to you, and this is something that you should very much bear in mind about how adaptable this can be and how appropriate it can be to do something like this with your life. Okay, so that brings us to the end of topic number 3. Now we will recap on today's session. So number 1, embrace something new. Okay, there's a first time for you for everything, and if we want to achieve a different outcome, we must do something that we have not done before. Okay. Number 2, be a pioneer of innovation. Don't be afraid to wake up the market to something awesome that's coming out. Okay. Like we said, we've got the internet, we've got paid advertising, we've got social media these days. It's incredible. And you can enjoy a versatile and agile business, something that can absolutely fit in around you and your lifestyle and help you hopefully achieve a better caliber of lifestyle if that's something you wish to do. Okay. So as always, it's been a massive pleasure speaking with you today, and thank you ever so much for taking the time to attend. If you'd like to talk to a member of our team, you're more than welcome to head over to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. And on here, you can go ahead and book a call at a time that suits you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that calendar up on screen for you there. Just go ahead and follow that link if you'd like to book a call with us. And whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and grab the questions that I have from you on today's session. Cool. First question. I'm unsure that I'd be able to run a business. Amazing question. I'm so glad you asked it. Okay. Resources and education. Everybody starts somewhere. Okay. Nobody knows necessarily straight out of the gate how to run a business in the best possible way every time, every way. You've got to make sure that you take the time to study how you want to run your business, because every business isn't run in the same way either. Okay. There's different things that work for different people, that work for different businesses for different reasons. So figure out a business management style that suits you. If it's flexible, if it's part-time, if it's little effort, if it's maximum effort, that's up to you. Okay. Your business will excel as far as you wish for it to and how much effort you're giving it. Okay. Awesome question. Thank you ever so much for asking. Next question, similar level. I already work a very intense job. Amazing. Okay. Cool. I understand. All right. Now, how effective is your time management? Because I'm going to tell you, if you already work a very intense job, you've already got the work ethic there. You've already got something that you can utilize to really power yourself forward in being an entrepreneur. Okay. So the only question I have for you is, how good is your time management? Are you getting everything done that you need to do in as effective way as possible? Are you organizing your time? Are you making sure that everything is stuck to a deadline? Are you making sure that you're allocating priority tasks to yourself and potentially delegating lower priority tasks? Okay, all of these things can be done time management wise, business management wise. And actually, an enormous part of business management is, in fact, time management itself. Okay, so another awesome question. I hope that that helps. Thank you ever so much for asking. Do we have any more questions from today? No, doesn't look like we do. Okay, wonderful. Well, as always, it's been a total pleasure. I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead, and I very much look forward to seeing you again on the next iOB business webinar. Take care and bye for now.